You know, nobody makes it through this life unscathed without picking up wounds and scars, without being hurt. It's a beautiful world that we live in, but there's a lot of pain and a lot of evil because of the sin in the hearts of men. We've all been hurt by other people, and sometimes those wounds come from the closest people to us, from our friends, from our family, from people that we trust. And it can be so easy to just cling to bitterness and unforgiveness, to just take the easy way out and just be mad at those people. Being angry with somebody, it can feel like strength. It can feel like power. It can feel like we have something over them. But really, it's hurting us. It's killing us. And it's getting in the way of our relationship with God. Jesus tells us, you need to forgive others the same way that I've forgiven you. If Jesus is alive in our life, then his forgiveness should come out. And he gave us the perfect example of forgiveness when he went to the cross. He went to the cross because he cared for us, and he took our sin upon himself. And when he was on the cross, he said, Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing. And yeah, I think he was talking about the people who put him up there. But I think in some regards, he was also talking about all of us as well. We sin, and sometimes we don't even know what we're doing. We don't recognize how much pain and hurt that we are causing God, yet he forgave us. In Romans chapter 5, it tells us that God demonstrates his own love towards us, and that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. Jesus was willing to lay his life down and to forgive us, even when we were still his enemies, and even when we were still sinners. And he's calling us to live in a radically forgiving way. In Ephesians chapter 4, verses 31 through 32, it says, let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and slander be put away from you, along with all malice. Be kind to one another, tender-hearted, forgiving each other, just as God in Christ also has forgiven you. That list on the front end of bitterness, wrath, anger, clamor, slander, malice, these are all things that come from a lack of forgiveness. If I'm bitter towards somebody, it's because I'm not willing to forgive them in my heart. I hear their name and I scowl and I get upset. I won't even talk to them. I won't even look at them. I'm bitter because of something that they've done. Wrath and anger, that's one, anger is just being super upset and mad at somebody. And then wrath is even actively trying to screw up that person's life, trying to upset how their life is going. And clamor and slander is just talking bad about people, lying about people. Our lives are deeply affected by a lack of forgiveness for others. But we're told we need to be kind, tender-hearted, and forgiving towards each other, the same way that Jesus Christ has forgiven us. If you have been forgiven, then you are expected to also go and forgive. I'm not saying it's easy. In fact, it can be very difficult. The easy way out is just saying, nope, we'll never forgive them, and that's it. But if we're going to follow Jesus, if we're going to pick up our cross and we're going to walk in his steps, if we're going to let him live through us, we also need to be willing to let him help us forgive others as well. Don't let bitterness eat away at your soul. Experience the freedom of forgiveness, of letting go.